TGON, that's you. Asphere's Cafe. The cafe is now open.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Asphere's Cafe. Today is Monday, January 12th, 2026, and yes, we are back with another episode of Asphere's Cafe. So, how are you all doing so far? And yes, we will be covering all of your usual tech news right here on Asphere's Cafe, along with an important topic that we need to talk, especially with the Cloudflare being fined by Italy for 14 million euros. And this is what I can call this is concerning, where they may have to comply, which I hope they don't. But yeah. So yeah, without any further ado now, let's start with our coffee. So it looks like Dreamcar is absent as you're looking at right now, but I don't know if he will be joining our coffee later, but we'll see if he will join. But for now, we need to talk about the Cloudflare. Yes, I'm not kidding. Cloudflare has been fined 14 million euros. So if I go over on X or Twitter, and if we go over to bookmarks, oh, this is not good. Okay, we'll get into that in a bit, but right here, yes. So let's get my screen share up right now. Hey, if I can just resize the window properly right here. Okay, so, yep, here it is, and well, as you are seeing on your screen right now, it is true that Cloudflare has been fined by Italy. So, as you can see over on Chibi Reviews post, this is extremely scary news. Reminder that Cloudflare is a massive company that allows the internet to function. If they start bowing to censorship, it's over. Yup. I am concerned because if they start filtering out pirate sites worldwide using their DNS, well, game over. So we need to talk about this, and I was gonna hope Dreamcard would be sitting along with me, but he's busy, so I will have to settle this. I will have to talk about this on my own. So yeah, well, as you know. Cloudflare is one of the huge companies along Google and Amazon that operates majority of websites. Like say, well, if you remember Cloudflare outage last year, yeah, it affected hundreds of websites that they couldn't get their work done, and that is because Cloudflare is a massive service in providing you the internet. So yeah. Now, if we head over to Torrent Freak article right here, yep, this is it. So why are they being fined? Well, we will get into that in right now. So we will be reading to you right here, and this is coming from Torrent Freak. Italy's communications regulator AGCOM imposed a record-breaking 14.2 million euro fine on Cloudflare after the company failed to implement the required piracy blocking measures. Cloudflare argued that filtering its global 1.1.1.1 DNS resolver would be impossible without hurting overall performance. HECOM disagreed, noting that Cloudflare is not necessarily a neutral intermediary either. So, if in case you are missing out on what's been developing in Italy lately, well, they have launched their so-called anti-piracy campaign that is called Piracy Shield. So that was launched around 2024. So what does Piracy Shield do? Well, that is to effectively tackle live sports piracy. Its broad blocking powers aim to block piracy related domain names and IP addresses within 30 minutes. While many pirate sources have indeed been blocked, the Piracy Shield is not without controversy. There have been multiple reports of overblocking where the anti-piracy system blocked access to legitimate sites and services. Many of these overblocking instances involve the American Internet Infrastructure Company that goes by the name Cloudflare, which has been particularly critical of Italy's Piracy Shield. In addition to protesting the measures in public, Cloudflare allegedly refused to filter pirate sites through its public 1.1.1.1 DNS. Good. I mean, why would they if they want to filter it? It's only going to make it worse, and it is going to affect every single person using their DNS. So if they start borrowing their needs to censor every website, game over. So back to what I was saying, or back to the article. It's a too big to block. Well, this refusal prompted an investigation by AGCOM, which now concluded that Cloudflare openly violated its legal requirements in the country. Following an amendment, the Piracy Shield also requires DNS providers and VPNs to block websites. The dispute centers specifically on the refusal to comply with AGCOM Order 4925 CONS, which was issued in February 2025. That was almost a year. The order required Cloudflare to block DNS resolution and traffic to a list of domains and IP addresses linked to copyright infringement. Cloudflare reportedly refused to enforce these blocking requirements through its public DNS resolver. Among other things, Cloudflare countered that filtering its DNS will be unreasonable and disproportionate. So, we will be reading to you on why Cloudflare refused to comply, and this is their argument right here. It would be necessary to install a filter in Cloudflare incorporate their software, the so-called DNS resolver 1.1.1.1, but this would be an unreasonable, disproportionate, and incapable of practical implementation solution because such a filter would have to be applied to each of the approximately 200 billion daily requests. That's a huge number to Cloudflare's DNS system, and this would have an extremely negative impact on latency, for example, on the response time behavior, which would be disproportionate to the usual processing time and would deprive the system of efficiency. Furthermore, the filter on DNS resolver 1.1.1.1 would relating to Furthermore, the filter on DNS resolver 1.1.1.1 would have a negative effect on the DNS resolution relating to all other sites not subject to the dispute, as well as on other Cloudflare services, since applying the filter to 200 billion queries per day would subtract a significant amount of data. That's the one big argument as to why they shouldn't comply in the first place. So, as I just read earlier, they warned that doing so would affect billions of daily queries and have an extremely negative impact on latency, slowing down the service for legitimate users worldwide. What I mean worldwide is around or across the world. Keep that in mind. So if they really have to start complying with Italy's law, then it's gonna affect every single user. Like every country, not just Italy, but every country, every European Union country, or every other country, they're gonna be affected by the filter. Why? Why is that? Again, it's a huge deal because Cloudflare is, once again, as I have said it before, one of the biggest internet service operator that operates the entire internet, along with Amazon Web Services and Google. So Upcom or AGCOM was unmoved by this too big to block argument. So they're doubling down that they're not taking it. The regulator countered that Cloudflare has all the technological expertise and resources to implement the blocking measures. AGCOM argued the company is known for its complex traffic management and rejected the suggestion that complying with the blocking order would break its service. And that is exactly the worst case scenario if that happens. If I were you, just how do I say this? I know it's hard to say this right now, but if I were you, it's better not to comply, or I should say, it's better not to comply with the law and just move on. But either the company being fined for 14 million euros, that's a heavy amount. And yep, as I said, a heavy amount. And here is the total: 14,247,698 euros. Again, that's very heavy amount of fine. So after weighing all arguments, AGCOM imposed, as I have said it before, a 14,247,698 euros of fine. Or if you convert that to dollars, that will be around $16.7 million fine against Cloudflare, concluding that the company failed to comply with the required anti-piracy measures. The fine represents 1% of the company's global revenue, where the law allows for the maximum of 2%. So this is the conclusion, and it's obviously translated as you can see right here. So, according to AGCOM, this is the first fine of this type, both in scope and size. This is fitting, as the regulator argued that Cloudflare plays a central role, and it is true. It's true. It is true. They do play in an essential field of offering internet services. Keep that in mind. So, AGCOM notes with the statement, with the quote, the measure, in addition to being one of the first financial penalties imposed in the copyright sector, is particularly significant given the role played by Cloudflare, end quote. Adding that Cloudflare is linked to roughly 70% of the pirate sites targeted under its regime. In its detailed analysis, the regulator further highlighted that Cloudflare's cooperation is essential for the enforcement of Italian anti-piracy laws, as its services allow pirate sites to evade standard blocking measures. Now that they were fined for 14 million euros, what's next now? Well, Cloudflare has strongly contested the accusations throughout AGCOM's proceedings and previously criticized the Piracy Shield system for lacking transparency and due process. While the company did not immediately respond to Torrent Freak's request for comment, this appeal may also draw the interest of other public DNS resolvers such as Google and OpenDNS. AGCOM meanwhile states it remains fully committed to enforcing the local piracy law. The regulator notes that since the Piracy Shield started in February 2024, this is their total statistics: 65,000 domain names and 14,000 IP addresses were blocked. And now, as of this posting, they did receive a comment from Cloudflare to Torrent Freak. So we're gonna read the statement right there. We of course will now fight the unjust fine, not just because it's wrong for us, but because it is wrong for democratic values. In addition, we are considering the following actions. 1. Discontinuing the millions of dollars in pro bono cybersecurity services we are providing the upcoming Milano Cortina Olympics. 2. Discontinuing Cloudflare's free cybersecurity services for any Italy-based users. 3. Removing all servers from Italian cities. And 4. Terminating all plans to build an Italian Cloudflare office or make any investments in the country. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. End quote. So that is their comment to Torrent Freak, and Lord, oh Lord, they are really planning on pulling out from Italian market if this appeal is going too far. So yeah, as you are seeing on the screen, they are really doubling down on not to comply. It's going to affect every single person, including you. Yeah, including you. Whether you're in Italy or not, you are going to be affected if they start doubling down on blocking sites. I hope they don't double it down, because it's not gonna look good for the entire internet if they do filter it out. I mean, of course, you could just switch to other DNS filters, but still, it's a huge deal. So yeah. Well. So that's my one man's take about the Cloudflare being fined by Italy for around 40 million euros, and oh my God, it is as bad as you can expect. So, what are your thoughts on this? And again, thank you, Chibi, for of course for always eyeing on the censorship news, because without you, I wouldn't be covering it by now. But yeah, thank you, Chibi Reviews, for keeping that up. So yeah, let us know in the comment section down below on your thoughts. What do you think about this? Now, as we move on to the next one, if you can give me a moment or two, we will be heading over now to the rest of the tech news before we have a commercial break. So let's head over to my private server right now and check what's on tech news. All right. Well. We have some bad news for those who are still going with the offline activation when activating Windows 11. Yup, it looks like Microsoft is killing off its offline phone-based activation method after 20 plus years. So, in a statement to Windows latest, Microsoft confirmed that it retired the traditional Windows telephone-based activation method, which truly worked offline. So what does that method do? Well, with a telephone-based approach, you could call Microsoft's activation phone number, and the automated process would activate your Windows or Office license. Now, this method has been retired. So they were told, or he was told, or are you already the others right here? Young Farmer was told the company retired the Windows or Office phone-based activation method as part of the efforts to modernize the activation experience. Well, if you want to activate Windows 11 or Office today, the easiest way is to link your license to a Microsoft account, which will automatically verify the product. So how can you do that? Well, you can head over to your settings by going over to System and Activation, and this is what you will see. So you will see what edition you're running. In my case, on my system right now, I'm using Windows 11 Pro. Well, in their side, they're using single language, which came with the OEM. So, why did Microsoft discontinue phone-based activation? Well, again, that is because to simplify the activation process, pretty much. So if we keep going, you can see when you attempt to call one of the listed telephone numbers for offline activation, you'll be asked to use a Microsoft account instead. But that does not mean MSA or Microsoft account is the only way to activate Windows. For perpetual licenses, Microsoft tells them that advanced customers can use the product activation portal, which is right here, by heading over to visualsupport.microsoft.com. Unlike phone-based activation, which did not require an internet connection at any part of the process, this new online product activation portal wants you to log into a portal which is secure, reliable, and user-friendly according to Microsoft. Once you're logged in and have entered the details, you can still activate Windows offline. So, continuing the statement reading your quote, customers who rely on traditional offline activation can continue using it without changes to the environment. While the process has been updated, offline activation capabilities remain supported, end quote. So, they did say that the process has been changed and phone call based activation is no longer supported, but that does not mean you cannot activate Windows offline. So what now, right? What do you need to activate Windows using the new product activation portal flow after activate by telephone has been retired? Well, this is how it works. So you have your option. You can sign in with your account using your, I don't know if you can use your personal Microsoft account or school work Microsoft account. I don't know, but aside from that, you also have government tenants. So there's that. So yeah, I was right. There you go. The portal specifically supports a personal Microsoft account, a work or school account, a Microsoft Entra ID account, or an Azure government tenant account. Now, did Microsoft retire activate by telephone to push Microsoft account? So some of you, they might argue that Microsoft retired phone-based activation because it allowed customers to avoid creating a Microsoft account. So why? So this is their take. They believe Microsoft retired the telephone-based approach to low usage. Moreover, product activation portal is a better option because it covers all products, not just Windows and Office, which were the two supported products of phone-based activation. So there you have it. As he guessed it, low usage of telephone-based activation, and I prefer to say it might be true. So, what do you think about this? Are you sad that they're retiring this feature? Are you sad about it? Let us know in the comment section down below. And let's see the comments over on Windows latest. It was definitely deactivated because of the cheap Office keys you could buy on key shops. Most of those requires phone activation as your PC is not in the domain of that actually has the license. So that is another speculation coming from a user who commented on Windows latest. Well, we cannot be sure, but we can safely take these guesses to say. Again, let us know in the comment section down below on your thoughts on that. Alright, let's start out with this week's Smartphone Weekly Poll, and it is our first Smartphone Weekly Poll of 2026. Will you be buying the Motorola Signature? And yes, it is the newest phone from Motorola. So what is Motorola's Signature? Well, it is not an all-out flagship, but it costs a good deal less than those which you can pick up a 12 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage unit for £900 or 1,000 euros in Europe. Something like the Vivo X300 Pro will run you 400 euros more. Even the OnePlus 15 costs 1,000 euros. So if you're wondering how the Motorola Signature looks like, this is the design of the phone itself on the front. And you have the back of the phone right here. Ooh, yeah, it has two camera lenses, while on the bottom left, I believe, is the camera sensor, and on the right, you have your flash. And you have in gold, and I believe is to be a Gorilla Glass protection right there. So the phone weighs in 7.7 millimeter and weighing 186 grams. And it is 47 grams lighter than the iPhone 17 Pro Max, while having a larger 5,200 mAh battery. And it is also paired with 90 watts of wire and 50 watts wireless charging, which is way above what Apple, Google, and Samsung will offer this year. So It is equipped with, for the specs for display, it is equipped with 6.8 LTPO display, which has 165 Hz and 264p plus resolution with an ultrasonic fingerprint reader underneath. And it has USB-C 3.1 Gen 2 port along with display port 1.4 to boot, so it can connect to external display. So good to know that this phone can do external displays. So for the processor itself, it is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, and it's not Eli, by the way. And as for the cameras, it has four 50 megapixel modules, and while the main camera has a large 1.28-inch sensor, which is using Sony LYT-828. There's a 3 times 71mm telephoto with a decently sized 1.95-inch sensor, and there's a 122-degree ultra-wide camera too. The fourth module is a 21mm selfie camera with an autofocus f2.0 lens. Not an ultra-great camera, but these are bigger sizes than what the OnePlus 15 has. So, this is your question. This is your poll for this week. Will you buy the Motorola Signature? And here are your options. Yes, I want. You have your options. Yes, I want. Maybe I'll wait for reviews. Maybe, but only after price cut. There are better phones at this price. I don't want a high-end phone, and none of the above. So these are your options for this week's smartphone weekly poll from GSM Arena. Again, will you be interested in this phone? Vote now on their website. Earlier this month, The Guardian published an investigation that showed Google was serving up misleading and outright false information via its AI overviews in response to certain medical inquiries. Now those results appear to have been removed. According to the original report, going right here, in one case that experts describe as really dangerous, Google wrongly advised people with pancreatic cancer to avoid high-fat foods. Experts said this was the exact opposite of what should be recommended and may increase the risk of patients dying from the disease. In another alarming example, the company provided bogus information about crucial liver Okay, what I was saying. So, which in another alarming example, the company provided bogus information about crucial liver function tests, which could leave people with wrongly thinking they are healthy. Yikes. Yes. So, as of this morning, the AI overviews for questions like what is the normal range for liver blood tests have been disabled entirely. Google declined to comment on the specific removal to the Guardian. However, spokesperson Davis Thompson told The Verge that, reading quote, "We invest significantly in the quality of AI overviews, particularly for topics like health, and the vast majority provide accurate information. Our internal team of clinicians reviewed what's been shared with us and found that in many instances, the information was not inaccurate and was also supported by high-quality websites. In cases where AI overviews miss some context, we work to make broad improvements, and we also take action under our policies where appropriate." End quote. So, ladies and gents, as we know, another failure for AI moment. So, womp womp, as you just saw. So, yeah, what do you think about this? Oh my gosh. What they could have done better, right? Anyway, let us know in the comment section down below, and what are your thoughts on that so far? As I'm reading right here, it looks like GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen is in the line to potentially earn $35 billion in stock options so long as the company hits a $100 billion market cap. One way to hit that target is by, you guessed it, cutting costs. And one way of cutting costs is to close down a bunch of stores. Big oof. The company closed 590 stores in fiscal year 2024 and said in a recent SEC filing that it anticipates closing a significant number of additional stores in fiscal 2025. With the fiscal year set to end on January 31st, and according to the block tracking closures, GameStop is planning on shuttering or already has over 430 stores this month. As of Sunday, January 11th, the list of planned closures is at 435 stores. As of February 2025, the company was operating 2,325 stores in the US, so that represents a significant reduction in its retail presence. And this comes as the company is largely withdrawing down its international operations, having already left Canada, Germany, Austria, England, Switzerland, and Italy, with plans to exit France within the next 12 months. Well, this is not good. To say that the company has had a tumultuous few years would be an understatement. However, it appears to have turned its fortune around recently. And despite that, it will leave thousands unemployed. Oh my gosh. But hey, at least the CEO might get his billions, but the employees will be left unemployed. That's the big downside. As of the moment, GameStop has not replied to a request for comment as of this time. So there you have it. That is what GameStop is kicking off 2026 by closing down most of the stores, if not all. Wonder why. But yeah, again, I have to believe it's related to the cost-cutting measures, which, again, GameStop, as you know it, is not the same as you used to know back then. So yeah, again, I would call this a deal breaker. So yeah, let us know in the comment section down below what you thought on that. Oh well, this just came in to the feed, and well, it looks like Bill Gates is warning about artificial intelligence, and this is going to be our last topic to talk about for tonight. And yeah, our last topic, and that is Bill Gates warning about the AI. Well, according to him, he warns that there is no upper limit to AI. It will surpass human levels without hitting a plateau, and it could even be weaponized in the future. You heard that right, coming from Bill Gates. So, we need to talk about that real quick. So, this is coming from Windows Central. Generative AI has caused a paradigm shift in the tech industry, with every major tech corporation, including Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, quickly hopping on the bandwagon, of course, with multi-billion-dollar investment. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates has been critical of the technology. Last year, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella revealed that the philanthropic billionaire was against his $1 billion investment in OpenAI in 2019. You're going to burn this $1 billion, he warned. Well, the Microsoft co-founder indicated that the world is in the midst of an AI bubble, you heard that right, while likening to the dot-com era fueled by investor enthusiasm and overvalued companies. There are a ton of these investments that will be dead ends. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. You heard that right, he warned you. There will be a dead end. I am warning you right now. More recently, the executive indicated that AI could be used as a bioterrorism weapon against the world if it landed in the wrong hands. You see? He is right. He is right. He is warning every society right now that AI, if not used right, can be weaponized. You have been warned. So yeah, I think this is where we'll have to end it here. So yeah, as you just heard, Bill Gates is warning you the upper limit to OpenAI, and even warns you that it can be weaponized. This is your warning sign if you are still going to double down on using AI as your tool. So be careful, because you will never know what's going to happen with artificial intelligence. Because again, as of me right now, I am totally against AI, but I still find AI useful as a tool, but not in a way that can be used for anything. All right. But yeah, it is now a minute before 8:30 p.m. and we are not going to be doing brewing question for now. So yeah, that will be it for Asphere's Coffee tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow with more tech news, and hopefully there will be plenty for it to cover, of course. But yeah, tomorrow same time, same place, right here on our cafe. And yeah, join us right here on Cool FM and As Radio, along with our live streaming YouTube channel. This has been Asphere's Cafe. I am Caro, and the cafe is now closed. We will be seeing you tomorrow. The cafe is over. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.